Hey, you're listening to the Matt Ueno podcast. As always, super excited to be here. And as part of what I'm sure a lot of people are doing right now is they're reflecting on 2020. What a crazy year it's been. I don't even have to get into what made this year such a crazy year. But if there's one thing that I think is as a side benefit of a crazy year of 2020 is all of the lessons that we've been able to learn and all the experiences and the lessons that we are still learning to this day. So what I wanted to do today is talk about some of the standout 2020 lessons that I've experienced and that I've learned throughout this crazy year. I kind of wanted to make this not a super comprehensive list of everything that I've learned in 2020, but I just wanted to pick just a few standout lessons in my life in 2020. So without further ado, let's just get into it. I think this would be a good spot for a podcast intro with cool music, but I don't have that yet. I'm still working on that. But yeah, to get right into it, I think one of the things that I've learned a lot is to just stop trying. What I mean by that is not to just give up or to lay on your couch and play video games all day. What I mean by stop trying is to stop really forcing things that are not necessarily meant to be forced. So case in point was when I was building my business, my marketing agency, it was a lot of trying, and a lot of that effort or that forced effort was me trying to prove or confirm an identity of myself, and that was the entrepreneur idea. For whatever reason, I thought I had to be, and always would be, an entrepreneur. Now, I've had conversations with my friends where I've told them, you know what, if God wants me to be a ballerina dancer, then I'll be a ballerina dancer. For now, I'm doing business. Now, careful what you wish for, careful what you ask for, because to make a long story short, I really kind of, stripped away that entrepreneur identity kind of painfully. Now, not all things considered, not super crazy bad or anything. I just straight up failed, and that really sucks. It just sucks to fail. Nobody likes to fail. And for me, when it came to not so much my career or my financial life, a lot of the effort or a lot of the force that I was trying to force on my life was confirming this identity. And I suspect that's what a lot of us do. That's a lot of what causes us embarrassment or just going down a path that may not be the most healthy for us, because we get into our brains, our minds, our psychology or whatever, that we need to be this certain thing to a certain person or a certain group of people. And we work really hard to try and confirm that identity, even though that identity may not be in full alignment with who we truly are. And it's hard because, how do you know who you are? And that's a question that we'll probably spend a lifetime figuring out. And I'm sure that the older you get, the more clear it becomes. Maybe. I don't know. I'm only 24 years old. What do I know about being 42? But the effort that I was putting in to confirm that identity was just had a cost that just was not worth it for me. Like I've said in my video all about my experience in failing the agency or failing in business, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try hard. I'm not saying that you shouldn't work hard. In fact, you should work really hard. But there's a difference between putting in the necessary work to get to a certain destination and just forcing something to the point where it's just not good for you. And I can recall a lot of the times where I've been really embarrassed or just what's the word? The times where I just haven't felt quite right is all the times where I've tried to force something. So for example, I was in Maui for a children's camp, a church children's camp. We teach kids about Jesus and all that. And I've been doing it for many years, and I had a chance to be co-director of this camp. Super cool. And I remember giving a speech, or a couple of, well, not speeches, but leading the team meetings or whatever. And I mean, looking back, I had some pretty cringy, what's it called? Speeches, I guess you would say. And I think the reason is one, it's just, I don't have a ton of practice doing speeches. I like doing it. So there's that as well. So I'm not saying it's all chalked up because I was forcing it, but a lot of it was because basically I was trying to prove to everybody that I was such a great speaker, that, oh, I had all this knowledge and wisdom, and I tried to make this that speech. I don't know if I'd call it a speech, because it wasn't really a speech. It was more like me just leading the group. But anyway, and I just remember a lot of people were confused over what I was trying to say. Again, looking back, it was kind of cringy. But again, that's because I was forcing the issue. I was trying to get to a destination that I thought was the best destination. And for me, that destination was showing everybody how smart I am or whatever. So it was a little embarrassing. And I have a lot of stories along that same line. Like, there was one time in freshman year of college, I was bench pressing. I was working out in the school gym, and right next on the power rack next to me, there was a bunch of volleyball girls. And I remember thinking, I'm going to show them how strong I am. So what I ended up doing is I put on a little bit more weight on the bar than I had planned, and it really wasn't that much. I forgot what the weight was, but it really wasn't impressive. And I was like, okay, I'll be fine because I have the safety rack. So if it's too heavy and I can't bench it, I will, it'll catch me. So I'm benching it, and I was on like the 5th rep or whatever, couldn't bench it up, and I was like, okay, the racks are going to catch me. Turns out I set the racks way too low. So here's me trying to impress these girls with really a mediocre at best bench press, embarrassing myself because I couldn't push the bar off of my dang chest. So I had to do that roll of shame where you roll the bar down your body, and you awkwardly sit up and take the bar off of your body. And that was pretty embarrassing, but that happened because I was trying to show or trying to show off, really. And I think a lot of this trying or this forceful effort that's at the detriment to us comes from us trying to, again, get validation when we don't need to get validation. Now, I'm not saying if you do something that's embarrassing or if you fail at something that it means you are trying to validate yourself or that you have bad intentions. You'll fail even when you are being genuine. But that's the biggest point, is just be genuine and flow from a place of genuineness, of where you're not trying to confirm an identity to anybody else, because what's the point? What's the point of confirming an identity of yourself if instead you overflowed from a place of love and care for these people? Like, I can only imagine how much more genuine and, well, I'd say maybe good that speech I had on Maui would have been if my main goal was, hey, I want to deliver this message in a most coherent way that's going to really empower them and really help them, run this camp. Obviously, those were goals as well. It's not like 100% of my motivation was to prove myself. But I think when we can come from a genuine place and overflow from things that really make us passionate, from things that we genuinely love in and of itself, I think that's such a better way to kind of live life. And, that's what I'm trying to kind of figure out, is like, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? I know kind of some of the targets that I have, financially, or where my life wants to be. But as far as finding expression that I can really, really just be present in, that doesn't require me to constantly prove myself, prove my identity, validate my ego, Still kind of working on that. I'm young. I presume that if you're listening to this, you're also kind of young. So if you don't have it figured out, hey, I'm right with you. I don't have it figured out either. But what I do have or what I've started to figure out is that I think things are so much better when you flow from a place of genuineness. Because I can think of a lot of times where I have flowed from this place of genuine desire, of genuine passion, and that's been so much more fruitful than the trying things. Like, I've had conversations with people where I would give them like a pep talk, and that pep talk was from a place of like, yo, I want you to be as badass as you can be, and here is my encouragement to you because I am so excited about what you're gonna accomplish and what you can do and just how capable I think you are. See, when I've been able to talk from a place like that, I feel like the impact has been so much better and deeper and less selfish. But like the time in Maui where the main motivation was I want to show everybody how great I am, things get kind of cringy, and things get kind of bad. So that is, hit the mic. That is one of the things that I've learned in maybe not just 2020. I've definitely failed in this aspect way before 2020. But that is one of the standout lessons to me. Stop trying. Flow from a place of genuineness, because there's that quote, I am the captain of my own ship or whatever. And so as a captain of the ship, you have to put in effort, of course. But I think what makes a really great captain is that if that captain can also, so this is like another part of stop trying. So the first part is flow from a genuine place on the inside. The second part of stop trying is to learn what you can't control and learn how to flow with and to appreciate and be grateful for the things that you can't control. So going back to the captain analogy, yeah, you might be the captain of your ship, but ultimately you are at the mercy of the wind, the weather, the currents, sharks, I don't know, whatever the weather or nature wants to throw you. And the better, as a captain, the better you are at yielding to these things, the better you are at harnessing these things, and the better you are at understanding these things rather than resenting or trying to control these things, the better captain you will be. So flow from a place of genuine just expression, not trying to impress, but to genuinely express yourself, and learning that you can't control everything. And in fact, your life would probably be a lot better if you learned how to yield to the weather, the currents, nature, to God. I think that is kind of the recipe for living a more effortless life. Or just like, I'm just flowing with it. Because I've also been studying Taoism as well, and I think it's a really cool philosophy of just effortless action. You're still doing stuff, yes, but since it's just flowing, it doesn't feel like much work. Again, that doesn't mean you're gonna get all the things that you want in life by being idle. Like, effortless does not mean idle. Okay, so stop trying, flow from a genuine place, and yield to the things that you can't control. The next one, and I feel like I've talked about this in almost every episode, but since we're talking about standout lessons, is just to shut up. Do the work. Do what you need to do. Stop talking about it. The proof is in the pudding. The talk should be in the pudding. Make sure that you are not taking out loans against the value of your word by saying, I'm going to do this, this, and that, and then not achieving this, and that. That puts you in debt. That puts you in credibility debt. You do not want to be in credibility debt because people won't trust you. People won't respect your opinions. And again, I've harped on this so much in other episodes. So I'm going to just go on to the next one. And I've touched on this as well. Careful with what you identify with. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur, so I got to be this, and that. And my question is, like, who told you you had to be an entrepreneur? Who told you you had to be a dancer? Who told you you had to be a this, and that? A lot of, I think, what influences how we think, and I think we can all agree on this, is our environment. If everybody in your peer group values money over everything, well, you're probably going to value money over everything. If your friend group values drugs, partyings, and raves, that's probably what you're going to value as well. So what do you want to value? What do you want out of life? And kind of work backwards from there. So this is a little bit of a shorter episode today, because I don't want to ramble. And those are just some of the lessons. Again, it's not all the lessons that I've learned in 2020. Maybe I'll make a part 2 or something like that. But I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you found it encouraging or know someone who would find it encouraging, please give this a share, and see you on the next one. Have a good day.